Okay, so today's topic is the practicals of DHCP. Okay, so DHCP, it is a service. It can be installed either in a Windows client computer or even a Windows server operating system. But preferably the DHCP should always be there in the server operating system only. Correct? Na? Since this statement, we cannot install DHCP in the Windows. I mean, we can install, but we need to install it in the server operating system, and we don't have any server operating system available with us. So what we have to do, we will build a server operating system from the scratch using this VMware workstation, and I'll show you how to install a server and do all the post build activities for the server, and then quickly move into the DHCP installation and show the configuration to you. Okay, so now let us get started with building a server operating system. Okay, so I have opened this VMware workstation. I am in the home page now. As soon as you are there in the home page of the VMware workstation, you see three options here. Okay, first
Sir,
one
please
is,
start the recording, sir.
yeah, it is started. Okay, see,
Okay, sir.
create a new virtual machine. I'll click on the create a new virtual machine, and I'll quickly build a new server 2016 or 2019 operating system, and from there we can take the configurations. Okay, I'll go with custom, and it is showing me the compatibility, I mean the capability of the application, this VMware workstation, how much capacity it supports up to. Okay, just go with the default, no need to change anything, and it is asking you to install the operating system, but I will select to install it later. Okay, third option I'll select, and then it is asking me which operating system you want to install, whether it is Windows, click on Windows and select whatever operating system you wanted. If it is Linux, just go to the Linux and see all the flavor of Linux is there. Okay, if it is VMware ESXi, just see you have all the VMware ESXi up to 7 version is there. Okay, and then other, like you have Debian, MS-DOS, FreeBSD, Solaris C, all the operating systems are here. But in our case, we need to install a Windows Server operating system. So I'll select the first option here, and then the version blades will be enabled. If you the pop up, I mean the pop down, see, if you click, you will see all the available operating system starting from 3.1. Okay, and then up to Windows 20 Server 2022, which is the latest, and Windows 11 is the latest. Okay, in our case, I would like to do an installation of Windows Server 2019. Okay, I'll select the Windows Server 2019 operating system, and I'll click on next. So it is asking me to provide a name uh, to the server which I'm building now. Okay, so the name of the uh, server can be put like your DHCP, or maybe server 01. I'll put like this to make it easy understanding. Okay, so I'll click on next. Then it is asking me to select the firmware type. You can either select the BIOS. BIOS means it is a basic input output system, which is the legacy firmware type which you had before 2022 2023, but latestly we have got this unified extensible firmware interface. Okay, this is the latest firmware type. Basically the firmware type means it is a kind of a piece of software which is helping to enable a communication between within the hardware. Okay, how much capacity of how much voltage has to go to each and every parts of the computer, and how to enable the communication within the computer hardware. That is what this firmware type means. Okay, basically it is an hardware understandable language. Okay, if you want to make you understand, so you can select whatever you want, either BIOS or UEFI. Let me go with BIOS only, no difference for you. Okay, and then it is asking me to select the processor, how many processor you wanted to give, because you already know I'm using VMware workstation. This VMware workstation is a tool. Okay, using this you can create multiple computers within computers. So I have a computer with 16 GB memory, 512 GB of hard drive. Okay, and i7 8th generation processor. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide that 16 GB into small pieces, 500 GB into small pieces of um, uh, uh, capacity, and I'm creating multiple computers within computer. That is what this VMware workstation does. So what I will do, I will just leverage existing. I have only two processor. I'll just use the two processor only. Okay, so two processor with two cores. Okay, so I'll just click on next, and it is showing me, see, up to maximum it is 16 GB, because if you look at my computer, okay, I have only 16 GB of memory only. If I go to the this PC, and if I go to the properties here, it will clearly show me I only have 16 GB of memory. See, it is only 16 GB of memory, and it is an i7 8th generation processor. And if you look at, I have 330 plus 150 512 GB of hard drive is there. So I am going to divide this available configuration into small pieces, and I'm creating multiple VMs. So what I will do, out of 16 GB, I can select 4 GB of memory to my server operating system. So minimum 4 GB should be there for your lab purpose. Okay. So then I'll select 4 GB here. You can click on these numbers. If you want 2 GB, click on 2. 4 GB, click on 4. If you want 8 GB, click on 8. Like that. In my case, I will select 4 GB to keep the server performed well. Okay. So I'll click on next, and then this is all default network type. You can just go with a NAT. This is also recommended only. Just go with this type also, NVMe only. And then it is asking you whether you want to create a new disk or you want to attach an existing one. I would like to create a new disk because I don't have any operating system for server as of now installed. Okay, click on next. Then it is asking me to select the number of GBs, the storage. So recommended is 60 GB. You should also go with 60 GB, but the 60 GB drive, try to keep it in a single file. Second option you have to select here. Otherwise what happens is 60 GB will get converted into 10 pieces of 10 6 GB 6 GB 6 GB, or 6 pieces of 10 GB 10 GB 10 GB. Okay, so to easy manage, what you can do, you can just store this file whole 60 GB as a single file. Okay, and then click on next, and this is the name of the VMDK. VMDK means it is the virtual machine disk. This is the extension of the VMware to store a particular drive. Okay, so click on next, and then finish. As soon as you click on finish, a new server gets created here. See here, you can see a new server got server 01 got created here. And if you look at the configuration, memory is 4 GB, processor is 2 is there, and 6 GB hard drive is there, and the CD is there, network is, everything is there. Okay, now if you switch on this server, it is a bare metal server now. Means there is no operating system installed. We have just built a empty hardware. Okay, so now we need to do the installation of the operating system. Okay, which operating system we are going to install? We are trying to install a server operating system. Now we already know installation of the operating system can be done in multiple ways. You can use CD, DVD, pen drive, network boot, or any third party tools can also be used to do the installation, right? See, now it is still trying, and now it is telling you operating system is not found. You are not, I mean, the computer is unable to find the operating system presence. What I will do, I'll simply shut this computer off, power off, and I would like to insert the DVD or the image of the server 19 operating system. I'll go to the CD DVD option, and I have an option to use the ISO image file. Click on this ISO image file, browse, and I have already downloaded my server 2019 and 2016 operating system, but here I'm trying to install server 2019. So let me select the server 2019 ISO image and open it, and you can click on OK. Now if you power on this computer, the computer will automatically detect the operating system, and it is asking me, it will ask me either to press some keys to continue with that present, the detected operating system, or it automatically pick up the installation. So let me power on. Okay. I just powered on. I'm clicking on this computer now. See, it automatically detects. See, loading the files. It detected the presence of the operating system in the CD as an image. From there, it is now starting to boot. Okay. Now you see how the installation begins. Any questions, guys?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. Now you see 2019 server 2019 got detected here, and this is just the beginning of the installation page. We always select the language, time, and the keyboard layout. So it is always recommended to go with US only, United States only, 99.9% of the time, until and unless you have particular requirement. Okay, just go with the next, and now click on install. Now the setup is starting actually. The overall installation normally takes less than 10 minutes. Okay. See, if you look at, as soon as you click on install, this operating system is showing you there are four versions. Okay. One is Windows Server 2019 standard evaluation version. Another one is standard evaluation with desktop experience. Okay. And the third one is the data center evaluation, and fourth one is data center evaluation with desktop experience. See, any server operating system after 2008 onwards, you can install the operating system in two ways. One is you can have a graphics similar to your Windows 10 operating system. Another one is you will not have any graphics at all. You will always have command prompts like this. The whole computer will be like this. You should control everything using the commands. If you want to see the time, you need to type time. Okay, like this. If you want to copy something, then you need to type some other uh, commands. Okay, or if you want to check the IP address, you can just type ipconfig. Like this, you need to use the commands to do any operations. You want to install a software, you want to create something, everything you need to use the commands, because there is no graphics at all. That is called as CLI, command line interface. So the server operating system can be installed in two ways. One is the command line interface, where you don't have desktop experience here, both first and third one. If you click first one and third one, it is command line interface only. See here, recommended, this option omits most of the Windows graphical environments managed with a command prompt and PowerShell or remotely with Windows Admin Center or the other tools. Okay, if you use the data center version, this option installs the full Windows graphical environment, consuming extra drive space. It can be useful if you want to use the Windows desktop or have an app that requires it. Okay, that means if you select the first and third one, you will use the command line interface, and if you select the second one and the fourth one, you will go with the graphical installation. So I would always recommend you to install the data center evaluation with desktop experience, the last option. Select that and click on next. So once you click on next, then it will ask you to accept the EULA. EULA means it's the end user license agreement. Select this accept, and click on, if you click on next, it will take you to the installation wizard. Okay, so now I'm selecting, clicking on next. Now it is asking you two options. One is, first one is upgrade, second is install. Upgrade means you already have an version and you are making it to the latest version. Say for example, in my case, if I already had 2016 operating system with applications, if I don't want to rebuild and do the greenfield implementation, if you insert 2019 operating system disk and if you select upgrade, the 2016 will become 2019 without damaging the existing applications. To do that, you need to check with the application vendor, application team, whether it is supportable or not. Once you get the confirmation, then only you can click on the upgrade option. Otherwise, if it is a fresh installation, select the second option, custom or install the Windows only option. I'm clicking on the second option. As soon as I click on the second option, it is taking me to the partitioning wizard. So here if you look at, I have given 60 GB of drive, if you remember. So normally what happens, we will create multiple drives in the server or any computer, because the first primary drive will always be used by the operating system. The second and third or any other drive should be used for creating the, I mean keeping the data, personal data or any business data. Okay. Now what I will do, I would like to create a new partition to install the operating system. So out of 60 GB, I would like to do 50 GB of drive. So 50 GB, how to calculate? If you open the calculator, okay, 1 GB means it is 1024 MB into 50 GB. If you make 51,200 MB will come. So if you put 51,200 MB here in the partitioning size, 51,200 MB, and if you apply, you are going to create a new drive for 50 GB of 50 GB for the operating system, and that is your first primary drive will get created now. See here, your drive 0 partition 2, which is 49.5 GB, means it is a primary drive got created. You may ask a question, sir, I have given 50 GB, but it is showing 49.5 GB. Half GB went off. Where is half GB? You see here, it has taken this 449 or 5, I mean 500 GB to the system reserved partition. So that is the partition which enables the connection between the remaining partitions. Okay, so that sector information, I mean all the logics informations, connection information will be stored in this partition. You cannot use this. The computer will use this. You cannot use it. Okay, and if you look at unallocated, still you have 10 GB. Click on this unallocated space, click on new, and use the entire available space and create a new drive of 10 GB, and that is your second primary drive. If you look at the type column here, first one is system, second one is primary, and third one is also primary, and operating system will be installed always in the first primary drive. That will be your C drive. Okay, so click on the first primary drive and say next. Now the actual installation begins. Okay, now the copying of the file will happen. From that ISO image, you will copy all the files to the cache of the newly building server. Okay, it will come to the memory, and from the memory it will start installing. Okay, so it will take about less than, the overall installation will take less than 5 minutes. Okay, that depends on your the capacity of the configuration of your computer. Okay, see, it's getting copied already. 11-12% happened, so it has to go to 100%. Then whatever the files got copied, right, those will get installed, start getting installed. Okay, and then it will, once the installation is completely done, it will check for the updates. Is there any updates recently? Because this image I have downloaded about 1.5 year back. Since I have the internet also connected to this laptop, it will see is there any new features or is there any new updates have been released at the Microsoft Store. Okay, if it is there, then it will try to install that as well. Okay, and then the computer get restarted. Once the computer get restarted, your installation is completely done. Okay, then you need to proceed with some other, I mean the post build activities, and making sure all the checklists whatever I have told you, right, starting from renaming the computer, and then adding the IP address to the server, because I told you server and any network devices and the network printers will always have the static IP, because dynamic IP, if you assign, that IP address will get changed after the lease expiry. Then if you have configured an application using the IP address, if the IP address got changed, then you may not be able to access the application. So in order to avoid that scenarios and situations, always the server should have a static IP address. So you have to manually go to the network interface card and assign the IP address, subnet mask, gateway, and DNS address. Servers are like that only. but clients are not. You don't have to mandatorily give the IP address statically to the client computers, because client, that can be okay, because client is always consume some service which is hosted at the server level, so he don't have any impact. But servers are very very crucial. If an IP address got changed to a server, imagine you have a Facebook application server and that has got some 192.168.1.10 IP address, and due to some reasons, if the IP address got changed, everybody's application at your mobile phones or wherever, that got linked with this 192.168.1.10 IP address. If the IP address got changed to 15, then the application will not open only. Correct, na? So to avoid that one, we will always keep or set the IP address static or manually to the server operating system. That is the first and foremost thing. Okay, and then you will change the time zones, and then you will grant access to the servers, and then you will get into the further configurations of the server. Okay, now you see my server 01 got completely installed, all the 100% got completed, and it is now getting restarted in 2 seconds. As soon as the server gets restarted, okay, now my computer is fully ready. I mean, the operating system installation is completed. Now it may ask me to set the username and password, the administrator username and password. And you are already aware, in the computer the superpower is the administrator. Administrator means he is the person who has got complete power of a computer. He can do anything and everything. He can do disaster, he can also do wonder. He can configure any services, he can remove access for anybody, he can grant access to anybody, he can do anything if you are a server administrator. Okay, so there are two kinds of administrator. One is local administrator. If you don't have computers on the domain, you have local admin account. I mean, the account will be created in the local computer. Another one is the domain administrator. That account will be created in the Active Directory. Okay, from tomorrow onwards, I think we are starting with the Active Directory topic. You will understand more there. Okay, so now today, since this server is in work group, okay, we are creating a local account. We are local administrator, and then I'll show you how to do couple of post build activities, and then we quickly install the DHCP. Okay, that won't take much time. So any questions so far? Okay, I'll take
No,
some.
sir.
Thanks. So administrator, see, the username is administrator by default, it came, and the password is I can set some password. I will always set password at the rate 123 for lab, password at the rate 123, PASSWORD at the rate 123, P capital. Okay, and if you finish, you are setting up the account, and now you see server 01 is ready. Right click on the server 01, and I'm clicking on the send, control alt delete. I'm trying to now log in as administrator. I will log in with the newly set password, which is password at the rate 123. Okay, now you logged into the computer. Okay, the profile is getting created. See, I'll try to make it full screen, but even though I make it full screen, it is not coming as a full screen. Correct, na? Because whenever you build any computer or VM in the VMware, we should always install the VMware drivers or the tools. Okay, how to install VMware tools? Either you can right click here, go to server and install VMware tool, you can do, or you can go to this VM blade here on the top. You have an option called install VMware tools. Click on that. As soon as you click on that option, install VMware tools, a CD will get inserted to this computer. Okay, so then the computer detects the presence of the VMware tools, and it autoplay happens. Okay, or if it is not happen, it will definitely come. If it is not happening, just go to my computer, this PC. If you go, see VMware D drive, it got detected. And if you look at here, in the DVD drive, VMware tool is there. Double click on it and try to install it. As soon as you install, all the missing drivers, like your drivers, everything get installed. One second, guys. Let me try to keep next. I'll try to install the complete installation. Next, next, and install. Now it will take a minute, and then automatically it will ask me to restart after the installation. Okay, I'll be back. If you have noticed now, see, automatically as soon as we are installing the tools, the drivers, it got full screen. Correct, na? See, now if I make full screen, it is complete coming the complete screen, because this VMware tool has installed the missing plugins, the missing drivers, okay, modules, everything. That is the reason it is always important to install the VMware tools just after you create a VM in the VMware or ESXi or hypervisor, wherever. Okay, so click on yes so that the computer will get restarted. Yeah. Now the computer is back online after restarting. Send control or delete. Login as administrator. Yes. Now let me check the name of the computer, whether the name got changed or not. Or before that, probably I can start with IP config. What is the IP address? See, if I type IP config, it is showing me like there was an IP address already. There is an IP address already assigned 192.168.230.178, and this is not something I have given. Correct, na? So let me do. The server should always have. See, it says it is DHCP enabled. Who has given the IP address? This is being given by a DHCP server. And which is the DHCP server? See, it is the DHCP server. So this is one of the DHCP server, okay, which is configured within the VMware. Okay, so I don't want this address to be dynamic. I would like to make it static. Okay, then I'll go to ncpa.cpl, network control panel.cpl. So the Ethernet port, right click, go to properties, and then click on IP version 4, Internet Protocol version 4, properties. And if you look at here, the first option is selected, obtain an IP address automatically. And that is the reason it has got the IP address from the VMware DHCP server. So I would like to click on the second option, select, use the following IP address, and now I'll give 192.168.190. I'll make it as 10. Okay, if you put subnet tab, automatically the subnet mask got created. See, 255, 255, 255. Why it is 255, 255, 255? Because it is class C network. So class C network, you will have more number of networks, less number of computers. If you remember the previous days classes, IP addresses. So if you want more number of network, more number of offices, less number of computers, then go with the class C. That's what I told you. I gave you Airtel office example. Correct? Now you have n number of Airtel offices, but in each Airtel offices outlets, you will only have one or two computers. There you need more number of network. You need less number of computer. That is the reason class C. Okay, and gateway, it is always the first IP address 192.168.190.1, and DNS as of now we don't need because there is no DNS as of now, so close it. And now if you run ipconfig, see, 192.168.190.10, so it is added. Now let me quickly check the name of a computer. Name of my computer. I can use a command called host name to see the name of the computer. The name of the computer is Windows 11, Windows U2 VMVA 8 NNL5. It is not as per the standard. So how to change the name of the computer? There are two ways to change the name of a computer. You can go by graphics, go to this computer, this PC, go to properties, and here you can click on change option and go to computer name, click on change option. If you don't want to do longer steps, multiple steps, then straight away you can run a command called sysdm.cpl. Okay, then it will directly take you the computer name option. Okay, click on change here. Now you can give server. What is the name of a computer? It is server 01. Server 01. I am renaming the computer at the OS level 2. So now click on OK, and now it is asking me to confirm yes, like restart now. So now once the computer get restarted, my computer will be properly renamed. So the two things, the basic things, the mandatory things like installing the drivers, adding the IP statically, and the third one is renaming the computer. So I'm good now. Okay, so now let me log into this computer, send control alt delete, PASSWRD at the rate 123. I'm logged in. Now I'm all set. Time also you see it is 7:44 is there. Let me quickly change the timing to the IST. Go to adjust time, date and time. Okay, and go to the time zone here. I don't want Pacific time, Asia Pacific. Canada time, I don't want UTC 8. Let me give plus 5:30 Indian timings. See, 5:30 Chennai, Calcutta, Mumbai, New Delhi. As soon as I click on this one, my time will be getting changed to from 7:15 to I think 8:15, 7:45 p.m. to 8:15 because they are almost 12.5 hour back now. See, yes, now the time got changed to 8:15 a.m. So I'm good now. So now, if you look at the tools option, I would like to convert this server as a DHCP server. In order to do that, I have to install a role called DHCP. Okay. So how to install a role in the server operating system? See, as soon as you log into any of the server operating system, by default, this server manager gets open. As soon as you log in, automatically the server manager opens, and it will show you the next console. Okay, like it will show you like add, remove roles, this stuff it will show you. Okay, this wizard it will show you add roles and features, server manager like this, and all the roles which you are installed will be visible in the tools option. Here on the top you have the tools. Click on tools. This is very important, guys. This is what the server is all about. Okay, you will never have a difference between client and the server operating system. Client will have the server manager extra, that's all. Okay, remaining everything is same. Okay, so if you look at the tools here, you don't see any service with the name of DHCP. See, in the D only two options are there: defragment and disk cleanup is there. You don't have anything apart from the these two with respect to D. That means you don't have any DHCP role here in this computer. So what I'll do, I'll quickly go to the server manager here, and I can see add roles and feature options. So all the services that you want to install, no matter whatever services you want to install, Windows services, whether it is Active Directory, DNS, DHCP, file server, print server, VPN services, okay, or DFS services, certificate services, okay, any service that you, Microsoft services that you think, everything will be installed in this wizard only. I'll show you now. Okay, so there are two types: one is roles, another one is features. If I click on add roles and features, and if you continue with the wizard, it is asking me you would like to continue with the role based or feature based installation, or you would like to go with a remote desktop service installation. I would like to go with remote role based feature installation. Okay, if you select the second one, what happens? this computer will start converting as a jump server. We call it as jump server or terminal server. Means if you say, for example, you are working in an organization called IBM and you are supporting for a company called Kingfisher. Okay, so to jump from IBM network to the customer network, we use some servers. Those servers we call it as jump servers. Means by default to a computer only two people can log in at a time to the server. Client only one, but server you can log in two sessions. So to this computer server 01, I can also log in remotely. You can also log in remotely. At a time, two concurrent sessions can be established. Okay, but here if you install this remote desktop service installation, your computer will be enabled for n number of logins. There is, you will after installing this service, you will provide some license. So each license will cost some money. So it is per cal license we call it as. Then this computer will convert as a terminal server. I don't want to discuss that. I want to go with the first option because I am learning about the DHCP. Okay, select the first option, go on next. As soon as you go on next, it will give the information to review. One is server 01, what is IP address, what is operating system. I am good with this. I am clicking on next. Now if you see, you will see all the roles available in this server 2019. See, you have Active Directory Certificate Service, Domain Services, ADFS, Federation Service, and see Device Health Attention, DHCP, DNS, Fax Server, File Server, see Hypervisor, Network Controller, Print Server, Remote Access, Remote Desktop Services, okay, Volume Activation Services. There are n number of all the available Windows services are there. If you know all this service, na, Microsoft will just welcome you like that. Your package will be 50 lakhs to 80 lakhs. I have my friend who works in Microsoft R&D center. His package is 1.5 crore. Okay, he is a techie. Okay, so in our case I would like to show you this DHCP only now, because our intention is to install the DHCP. Click on this DHCP role, add features, see DHCP server, and click on next. These are all the roles, and now you see the features. What are the features? If BitLock enablement, and BitLocker network unlock, and you see the group policy management. Okay, and you have this telnet configuration. These are all the features. The previous one is role. Okay, and I don't want to install anything in the feature. I'll just click on next, next, and I will install now. So now I'm installing the DHCP role to this computer. So it will take 30 seconds or less than a minute. So once you install the DHCP role, okay, it will have a role called DHCP installed, but it will never have any scope to define, I mean, what IP address to be given, all those things information it will not have. You need to manually configure it, and I'll show you that. That is what important. Now onwards it's important. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. So DHCP is one of the crucial service. It will be there in all the companies. Okay. Now you see the configuration is required. Installation succeeded on the server 01. If you click on this close option, you will have this see notification. Click on this notification, and there you see complete DHCP configuration. Click on this and say commit. So once you commit, please start the DHCP service on the target computer on the security groups to be effective. Fine, no problem. It automatically happens. I don't have to do anything. Now, if you go to the tools option here, see you have an option called DHCP now. After installing the role, you see the DHCP here. Click on this DHCP. Click on the server, and you see you will have both the IP versions. There are two versions of IP address, right? One is IP version 4, another one is IP version 6. Anyway, we are not studying IP version 6. because we are still living with IP version 4. So if you look at IP version 4, there is no scopes defined yet. You have the role, you have the server installed, but there is no scope configured. How to configure the DHCP scopes? Now the next question. It's very simple. Right click on this IP version 4. You see an option called new scope. Click on the new scope. Click on next, and it is asking you to give some name. Just give Bangalore Wi-Fi guest. Okay, this is guest network. Next, and what is the range? I told you, na, you have to mention the range of IP address, like 192.168 or 172. I'll give 172.16 dot 1 dot 0, sorry, 1.1, or you can even give 0.1 here, 172.16.0.1 to 172.16.0.254. Okay, so 16, see, length is 16 because 16 digit, 16 octet or 16 bits for the network, and remaining 16 bits for the computer. So slash 16 network means you will have 65,534 IP address. Okay, so click on next, and it is asking, do you want to exclude something? I told you, yesterday, if you want to use the IP address for static, like for computers, servers, network printers, you can exclude, but I'll show you later how to do that. And the least duration, it is asking 8 days. You can even put 99 days also, or even minutes also, but by default it is 8 days. Okay, would you like to configure this option? Yes, I would like to configure. And it is asking the router IP. Router means it is 172.16.0.1 is the router IP. I'm adding it. Next, domain DNS, if you want to add, you can add, otherwise you can just simply say next. Win server, I don't want to do anything, and activate it now. See, now a new scope got created here. See here, a new scope with the name called Bangalore Wi-Fi guest got created, and if you look at the address pool, it says the address range for distribution has been given like 172.16.0.1 to 172.16.0.254. Total, if you look at the statistics, it is 254 IP addresses are there. Okay, now you may think I need to have some IP addresses to use for my computers. So what you can do, you are thinking to exclude some ranges, not to given for the distribution, so that you can use them for the static, so that the DSCP will not give the IP address with the excluded range to the computers. So right click, click on new exclusion range. Just give 172.16.0.1 to 172.16.0.20. Okay, so the first 20 IP address I'm excluding. If you look at here, 0.1 to 0.20, it is into mark. X cross is there with red. That means the IP address excluded from the distribution. Now, if you go to the right click on the scope, look at the statistics, display statistics, and you see here now total addresses is 234. Earlier it was showing 254. Now you have excluded 20 IP addresses, and that is the reason the count, the total address is now reduced to 234, and available is 234. 0 is in use. Now what I will do, I would like to create some reservation. How to do the reservation? Like one particular IP address should always go to my computer, because that computer is my VIP computer. Okay, so what I will do, let me copy some MAC address. So to do the reservation, you should have your MAC address of the computer. Okay, how to check the MAC address? There is a command called ipconfig/all. If you type, you will have the MAC address. So let me take this MAC ID only. This one I'll take 005056C002. I'll copy, and I'll go to the server here. Right click on the reservation, and I will do new reservation. asking the reservation name VIP computer 01. What IP should go? Should go 10 0.10. I'll give. What is the MAC address? Control V. I'm pasting the MAC address. I'm simply adding. Now see, a new reservation got created. This is used, okay, in the VIP computer. Okay, so now if you go to the display statistics, it will show one IP address is used. Did I do anything wrong? Ideally it should show one less here, okay, because distribute one is there. Okay, yeah, no worries, it will take some time to reflect, but as soon as the IP addresses are getting used, okay, this count will be keep on reducing here. See, if you look at now the address pool or address leases, see, this is 172.16.0.10 is there, okay, and that has been given to VIP computer 01. What is the lease expiry? It is reservation inactive, okay, and unique ID full access. All the information can be seen in the address leases, or yeah, means whatever address has been given. If you want to see who is using which IP address, you can just come to this address leases and see. You can even export this as an inventory. You can export this list to as a CSV file, or an Excel sheet, and you can do the inventory kind of a stuff. Okay, this is how we create the scopes and do the reservation, do the exclusions. Okay, so if you want to see how to increase or decrease the lease duration after creation of the scope, just go to properties of the scope, go to properties here, and you see here 8 days is there. If you want to set it as unlimited, click on unlimited. If you want to give limited access, then if you want to change this 8 days to some hours, say for example like 9 hours, because nowadays people are doing work from home, okay, weekly 2 days they are coming, no point of giving them 8 days, correct na? So better you will give for 9 hours, so that the IP address will be taken after 9 hours. Apply and okay. See, now the lease duration got changed. See, 9 hours 0 minutes. Guest network. And if you want to create one more scope, just right click and create new scope, and you can Bangalore conference or Bangalore workplace. Okay, you can just say next. Here you give 172.16.1.1 to 172.16.1.254. So next, conflict with the existing scope. Because the previous scope no have given /16, that is the reason it is not taking. Let me check another one. 192.168.1.1 to 192.168.1.254. This is /24 network. Next, and exclusion, I don't want to do any exclusion. 8 days is fine. I want to activate it. 192.168.1.1 is the gateway. Adding it. Next, next, and finish. See, now one more scope got created, which is workplace network. If you look at the statistics, same, you see 254 IP address is there, and now you don't have any addresses leased. Address pool is there, no exclusion, no address leases are there, reservation nothing is there. Okay, so I was also talking about the allow and deny, correct na? See, new policies can be created, policy name, and whether it is allow policy or deny policy, that can be created in the policies as well. Okay, so with this I think we are done with the DHCP practicals as well. Let me stop the recording and then I'll take some questions. Thank you.